12 years. That is how long the average American owns his house before he sells it and goes somewhere else. 12 years by the people who count such things, and it was 6.5 back in 2005. So the odds are good that you will not be standing in your own garden in 20 years' time. Somebody else will be standing in it. And whatever you put in the ground this spring, that somebody is the one who inherits it. I am not going anywhere. My grandfather dug this same ground, and my father after him, and I have dug it my whole life, and my grandson will dig it when I am under it. Plenty of days that is just stubbornness with a shovel. But it does mean one thing that changes everything about how a man plants. I cannot move away from a mistake. Whatever I get wrong in that bed does not go to a stranger in 12 years. It goes to a boy I know by name. So there is a list. It is not written down anywhere. It is not read out at church, and nobody has ever forbidden us a single plant. I want that plain before we start, because you will hear otherwise about us, and it is not so. This is 9 plants that do not get into my beds, and I learned every one of them the hard way, on my knees, usually about 3 years too late. My name is Gideon Riehl. I am 65. I have farmed the same ground in Lancaster County the whole of my life, and I should tell you straight away that the garden is not mine. It is Esther's. In our settlement, the vegetable ground is the woman's ground. She plans it, she orders it, she decides where things go. Mine is the field and the shop. What I have got is 50 years of being told where to put the barrow and 50 years of digging out what we planted wrong before either of us knew better. And I want you to see her garden for a moment, because it will tell you what we are protecting. Long, straight rows, and the rows are the point. Beans, tomatoes, potatoes, corn, all of it lined up so a woman can walk between them with a hoe and never step on anything. 4 or 5 kinds of cucumber, because the ones for putting up in jars are not the ones you slice for dinner. Squash and pumpkins along the far end, where they can sprawl without offending anybody. And then, in among all that, marigolds set between the melons and colossia, standing up in the middle of the cabbage, because a garden that only feeds you is a garden somebody gave up on. That is what a bed of mint takes away. It does not just crowd out an onion. It takes the row out of the row, and once the order is gone, the whole thing stops being a garden and starts being a patch. 2 things are coming that you should stay for. The first is a number, and it is the worst number in gardening. One of the 9 on this list can travel 65 feet from where you put it, and it can go 10 feet straight down. That one is last, and it is worth the wait. The second is a confession. One of the 9 plants on this list is in my kitchen right now, in a jar, and has been for as long as there has been a kitchen, because none of these plants are evil, and I am not going to let you leave here thinking they are. Now, why does nobody warn you? There is no villain in it, and I will not pretend there is. A garden center sells you a pot of mint in May, and everybody is happy that day. What nobody in that building has any reason to describe is what that pot looks like in year 3, and it is not because they are wicked. It is that a man who comes back every spring to buy something to fix last spring is a better customer than a man who got it right the first time. Nobody plans that. It just quietly works out that way, and the price of it lands in your soil years later where nobody can see it. So before the list, the one thing that ties all 9 together, because if you understand this, you can judge any plant on earth without me. An ordinary weed you pull. You get the top and the root together. It comes out. That is the end of it. These 9 you do not pull, you break. What they have underneath is not a root going down for water. It is a rhizome running sideways for territory, and it is packed with everything the plant needs to start over. Snap it in half, and you have 2 plants. Run a tiller through a bed of it, and you have 300. It is not a weed problem. It is a root problem, and the 2 are treated in opposite directions. And there is a second thing that gets confused with the first, so let me separate them now, because the treatment is not the same. Some plants spread underground, which is what I have just described. Others spread by seed. They stand there behaving themselves all summer. They flower, they set a head of seed, and in September, a wind takes that seed 40 feet in every direction. A cedar you can beat, and beating it is easy. You cut the head off before it ripens, and that is the whole battle. Once a year, 10 minutes. A runner you cannot beat that way at all, because the plant does not need seed and never did. And the ones that will really cost you are the 2 or 3 that do both, root and seed together, because you can win one war all summer and lose the other in a single afternoon in autumn while your back is turned. So the first question about any plant, before the pretty picture on the label and before what it tastes like, is this one. How does it travel? Seed, root, or both? If the label does not say, that is an answer in itself. And once you know how a thing travels, you know what it costs you every year for the rest of your life, and that is a number no garden center has ever put on a tag. And that is why these things ambush people. Year 1, you plant it and nothing happens, and you think, well, that was overhyped. Year 2, it looks handsome, and you are pleased with yourself. Year 3, you notice it in the path. Year 4, you are digging it out of a place you never planted it, and by then, the thing has been building underground for 3 growing seasons while you were admiring the top of it. And I will tell you the other way these get into a garden, because it is not always the garden center, and it is the way it usually happens with us. Somebody gives it to you. A sister at church digs up a clump of something and brings it in a coffee can because she has far too much of it. And stop and think about why she has far too much of it. That is the whole warning handed to you along with the plant, and nobody ever hears it. A gift over the fence has no label on it, nobody looks anything up, and it goes in that same afternoon because it would be unkind to let it dry out. Half of what I am about to list arrived in this settlement in a coffee can from a well-meaning neighbor. The generous plants are generous for a reason. Number 1, and I am starting here because I would guess half of you have already done it, mint. Everybody plants mint. It smells wonderful, it costs $2, and it is the single most common regret in any vegetable garden in this country. It runs on rhizomes just under the surface, and it does not spread in a circle like a polite plant. It sends a runner 3 feet sideways, comes up, and starts again. 2 seasons, and it is through your onions. And here is the cruel part. You cannot dig it out cleanly, because every white thread you leave behind is a whole new plant waiting for rain. Mint belongs in a pot. It has always belonged in a pot. Esther keeps hers in an old enamel bucket by the pump, and it has been perfectly happy there for 30 years. Number 2, and this one people argue with me about, brambles, raspberries, blackberries, the whole family. Now we grow them. Of course we grow them. There is a row of black raspberries along the east fence that my mother put in. But they must be along a fence or in their own patch, and never, ever in the vegetable ground. They travel by sucker. The root sends up a new cane a foot or 2 out from the parent. Then that cane sends one further, and in 5 years, the row has walked 6 feet into the garden and taken it. A bramble does not stay where you planted it. It stays where you keep cutting it back to, which is a different thing entirely, and it is work every single year, forever. Number 3 is the confession I promised you, and it is horseradish. There is a jar of it in my kitchen at this moment, and there has been a jar of it in every Amish kitchen I have ever walked into. You cannot put up half of what we put up without it. So understand me. I am not telling you it is a bad plant. I am telling you that the root you eat is the same root that ruins you. It goes down deep and it goes down brittle. And when you dig it in the autumn, you will snap it, because everybody snaps it. And every fragment you leave behind is next year's plant. Put horseradish in the corner of the vegetable garden, and in 10 years, the corner is horseradish. Ours is in a sunk barrel behind the wash house, on its own, where it can do whatever it likes. Number 4, lemon balm. This one is sly because it does 2 jobs at once. It creeps at the root like mint, and it seeds itself like a weed, so even if you win the war underground, it has already scattered 1,000 seeds over the bed while you were busy. It smells of lemons, and it is lovely in a tea, and it will be in your gravel path, in the cracks of your steps, and under the porch inside of 4 years. And you will not resent it early enough, which is the real trouble with this one. It is soft, it is pleasant, it pulls up easily when it is small, and so nobody deals with it, while dealing with it is a 5-minute job. Esther cuts hers back before it ever flowers, every year without fail, and that is the only reason there is one clump of it here and not a lawn of it. Number 5 is oregano, and with it most of the low-creeping herbs, the ones that lie down and root wherever a stem touches soil. These are not violent like the others. They are patient. Every stem that flops over in June makes a new crown by August, and the plant walks across the bed a hand's width a year, quietly, until one morning you notice there is no bed left, only oregano with some vegetables in it. And because it happened slowly, you will not be able to say when it happened, and you will half believe you meant it. That is how the patient ones win. The violent plants get dealt with because they frighten you. The patient ones get a pass every single year, and then one spring, you're on your knees with a fork, wondering how a herb took 4 square yards. Number 6, comfrey. Now, comfrey is genuinely useful. It makes as good a mulch and as good a compost heap starter as anything that grows, and a man who keeps it deliberately is not a fool. But comfrey has a taproot like a parsnip, made of iron, and any piece of it left in the ground grows again. You do not weed out comfrey. You relocate your garden. I have seen a patch that a man tried to remove 20 years earlier, and it was still coming, still exactly where it had been, outliving his intentions by 2 decades. Number 7, Jerusalem artichokes. These are sunchokes, the knobbly tubers, and they are real food. They will feed you in February when the potatoes have gone soft, and they will grow in ground that has given up on everything else. That is why people plant them. Here is the trap. You harvest them in autumn, and you are thorough, and you take every one you can find. You did not. There are always tubers the size of a pea left down there, and each one is a plant. And the very worst thing you can do about it is the thing everybody does. Run the tiller through in spring to clean the bed up. That does not kill them. That chops the ones you missed into pieces and plants every piece for you, evenly, across the whole bed. Number 8, running bamboo. And here I want to be careful with my words, because this one is not only a garden matter, it is a legal one. Bamboo comes in 2 kinds, the clumping sort, which stays roughly where it is, and the running sort, which does what its name says. Pennsylvania requires barriers to hold the running kinds in and names the groups of them outright. It got into people's foundations and their neighbors' yards until the state took an interest, and that is how a plant ends up in a statute. If you are set on it, you are talking about a metal or heavy plastic barrier sunk properly all the way round and checked, not a plan for a Saturday afternoon. And the 9th is the one I promised you at the start, and it is Japanese knotweed. The university in this state, Penn State, has it written down plainly. The rhizome of that plant goes as far as 10 feet straight down and as far as 65 feet sideways from where the plant is standing. 65 feet. Go outside and pace 65 feet from your back door and look at what is standing there, because that is the reach of one plant. It comes up through gravel. It comes up through the crack in a slab. It comes through where a shed footing meets the ground. In Pennsylvania, it sits on the noxious weed list, which means selling it, growing it on purpose, moving it, or spreading it about without a permit is against the law here. Nobody plants this one on purpose anymore. But people move soil, and people dump garden waste over a bank, and that is how it gets to a new place, in the back of a trailer, in good faith. And I want you to understand why it is different in kind from the other 8, because it is. With mint, you have a nuisance in your beds. With this one, you have a thing that is working on the fabric of the place. It comes up in the seam between a path and a wall. It comes up along a foundation. It comes up inside a hedge where you cannot get at it. Cutting it down does nothing at all. You have removed the top and left every foot of that rhizome network in the ground, fed and rested and ready. And the 65 feet means the plant you are looking at may not even be the plant you have to deal with. The crown could be in the ditch on the far side of the lane, and what is in your garden is only the far end of something that belongs to nobody. That is why it ended up in a statute instead of a gardening column. Now about lists and laws, because this is where a video like this normally goes wrong. Pennsylvania sorts its noxious plants into 3 classes: the ones that are still only in patches and get hunted down, the ones that are everywhere already and only get held back, and the ones that are not in the state at all and everybody is watching the road for. Your state has its own list, and it will not be the same as ours. A plant that is merely a nuisance in my county can be outlawed in yours, and the other way about. I do not know your rules, and I am not going to stand here pretending I do. Go and look up your own state's list. It is free, it is public, and it takes about 5 minutes. And I will give you no advice at all about what to spray, because I am a farmer and not a chemist, and because the wrong thing in the wrong place near a vegetable bed is a serious business. Your state has an extension service. They are paid out of taxes you have already handed over. They know your soil and your law, and they will tell you for nothing. All I am giving you is what the root does and where the plant should have gone in the first place. So here is where they should have gone, and every one of these is something we do. A bucket, an ordinary bucket with holes knocked in the bottom, sunk to its rim, and mint lives its whole life in it. A barrel with the bottom cut out, sunk 1.5 feet down, which is where the horseradish is. A strip along the outside of a fence where the mower goes down both sides, because nothing spreads through ground that gets cut every week. The end of the garden nearest the lane, so the thing has a road to stop it and not a bed. Or a place you walk across every single day, a path, a gate, a way to the barn, because the ground under a man's boots twice a day is ground no rhizome has ever conquered. And a word about how those walls actually have to be built, because half doing it is worse than not doing it at all. A bucket has to be sunk to its rim and stay proud of the soil by an inch, because if you bury the lip, the runners simply go over the top, and you have gained nothing but a hidden problem. A barrel wants to go down further than feels reasonable, 1.5 feet at least, and you want to be able to see its edge from standing height, because a wall you cannot see is a wall nobody checks. A mown strip works only if it stays mown. Skip a summer and the plant crosses it, and you are starting over. And whatever you build, walk the edge of it once a year in spring, when everything is small and a runner still comes out with 2 fingers. That is 10 minutes in April against 2 autumns on your knees, and I know which one I have paid. Now I have to spoil something for you, because a great many people believe it, and it is only half true. A raised bed does not save you, nor does a container that is sitting on soil. A raised bed is a box of earth standing on more earth, and a runner does not care about the change in level. It goes along the bottom boards, out through the gap where the timber has shrunk, and down into the ground beneath. And now you have it in the bed and in the path. A pot standing on bare ground will send a root out of the drainage hole in one season and anchor itself, and after that it is not a pot anymore. It is a plant with a decoration around it. If you are going to use a container as a wall, then it has to stand on something hard, a slab, a board, gravel over plastic, and it has to be picked up and set down again once a year so you can see what is trying to happen underneath. A wall with a hole in the floor is not a wall. And what do you do if you have already got one, which most of you have? I will be straight with you. You are probably not going to remove it, and I would not spend your summer trying. What you do instead is decide where its edge is going to be, and then defend that one line and nothing else. Pick a line you can see and walk, the edge of the path, the fence, the line the mower already makes. Everything on the far side of it, you take out every spring while the shoots are small and come up with 2 fingers. Everything on the near side, you leave alone and stop grieving over. 10 minutes on one line in April beats a whole June spent digging in the middle of a patch. And the middle of a patch is exactly where the plant wants you to be, because that is where you break it into more of itself. That is what all of that comes to. A spreading plant is not a problem. It is a plant with no wall. Every one of these 9 is a good plant somewhere and a disaster in a vegetable bed, and the difference between the two is never the plant. It is whether you gave it an edge it cannot cross. We eat 6 of the 9 on this list. We just do not let any of them share soil with the beans. And I will tell you what I got wrong, because it would be poor of me to give you a list of other men's mistakes. 30-odd years ago, I put a comfrey plant at the end of Esther's garden near the compost because I had read what it does for a heap and I thought I was being clever. She asked me where I intended to put it and I said the corner would do. It got into the path. It got under the fence. It got into her rhubarb, which she had off her own mother, and I spent the better part of 2 autumns getting it back out and never entirely did. It is still there at the bottom of the fence, and every spring it comes up, and every spring she looks at me. That is the honest cost of a plant you did not read about first. So step back. 12 years is the number the country runs on. The average man is out of that house before the mistake he made in the flower bed has finished revealing itself. And I do not say that to look down on anybody. I say it because it explains why so much bad advice about gardening survives. Nobody is around long enough to be proven wrong. And there is the other side of that coin which nobody ever says out loud. Somebody is going to buy your house. He is going to walk around the garden in May when everything looks handsome, and he is going to think he has bought a nice bit of ground. Nobody will tell him what is under the flower bed because nobody will know. You may not know yourself. And in 3 years, he will be standing there with a fork, working out that the pretty green edging along the path goes under it and comes up on the other side, and cursing a man he never met and who meant him no harm at all. That happens in this country hundreds of thousands of times a year, quietly, and it is the whole reason for a video like this one. We are around. That is the only real difference between his list and mine. The same 40 feet of dirt for 100 and some years and a family who has to keep looking at it. Now, 4 things you can do this week, and every one of them is free. First, walk your beds and find anything that is somewhere you did not plant it. That is the only test that matters, and it is the whole video in 1 sentence. Second, on whatever you are about to put in this year, look up 2 things: how it spreads and whether it is on your state's list. That takes 2 minutes each. Third, for anything you already have and want to keep, decide today what its wall is going to be: the bucket, the barrel, the mown strip, the path. And fourth, if you have got a plant you have been quietly losing to for years, go and dig 1 spadeful next to it, not through it, and look at what is actually down there. Most folks have never once looked. Because that is the sentence I would have you carry out of here, and it has nothing to do with being Amish. You are not choosing a plant. You are choosing what somebody digs up in 20 years, and there is a fair chance it will not be you. Now do something for me in the comments because I read them, and my grandson reads out the ones I miss. Tell me the one plant you regret putting in your own ground, just the one, the worst one, and the state you are in beside it. Nothing else. I have a notion mint is going to win, and I have a stronger notion that the second place is going to be something I have never heard of, growing in a state I have never seen. One more thing before I go. Everything I have told you today is about keeping something out. There is a plant on this farm that we do the exact opposite with. We let it go wherever it likes. We have never once dug it out, and it has been spreading across the same bank behind the wash house since my grandmother put it there. It feeds us, it doctors us, and the seed we planted has been dead for 60 years while the plant has not. Next time I will take you round the back and show you the ones we let run. Whatever you put in this year, find out first how it travels. That is all I have got for you today. I will see you next time.